Hi, this is Pete May, president of GreenBiz Group, and I'm delighted to be here on studio today, GreenBiz Studio, with Leonardo Biasi, who is the vice president of data intelligence at NIMBL. Leonardo, buongiorno or buonasera. I don't know which. I guess it's buongiorno today. So I've exhausted my few words of Italian for the start of the interview.
Yes,
Welcome.
is a still buongiorno. I'm in Chicago, as you can see from my
Yep.
background. Thank you very much for having me.
That's that's great. So to start with, can you just tell us a little bit about your background, how you ended up here, and tell us a little bit about this company is NIMBL, the product is ESGO, and how you've arrived in the ESG space.
Yes, for sure. I've been working the last 15 years in the context of data, how to collect data, how to make them meaningful. So, how to transform them in information and then get to insights. In the last probably 10 years, we have been hearing a lot about big data. That was the issue, how to collect big data. That is not an issue anymore because technology is great in this moment and can do that very easily. The real issue today, the real meaning of the data is to have the right data, how to collect them and transform in information in order to get the right insights. More in this moment also is a topic of not only collecting information from structured systems like transactional data, finance data, but also from systems that are completely unstructured in order to answer things like ESG questions and answers. So, for this reason, in the last years, working with our team that was born in Italy, in Milan, and created a platform called ESGO, we tried to put together the two silos, the structured data and unstructured data, in order to have finance and ESG KPIs talking together. Why?
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
this is the future.
Yeah, and this is an interesting point because at our Greenfin event, we saw there's often a disconnect between the data that investors want and the data and the information coming from the corporate side. Talk to us a little bit about with ESGO how you're trying to bridge the gap on that on data and information in that space.
Pete, you're completely right. Companies today are looking for investors that will be willing to give them money, but the investors are looking for companies that in the future will be there and will be there for the world. So companies that are, as we say during Greenfin, green company, that are caring about people, are caring about world and not just financial. So more and more we are listening this integrated reporting. What is integrated reporting? We don't have any more silos of finance and other information, but we have what every kind of behavior of my company is going to do or impact the world and my investors. So for this reason, we think that a platform that is able to give you a controlled process of collecting data, analyzing data, and report data to top management will be very, very important. Why? Because the top management is going to answer to the market question regarding their behavior. And they have to be ready to not only answer, but demonstrate them. I'm thinking that in the future, you are not going to have just your balance sheet and P&L submitted to the SEC, but the market will ask you more and more ESG data. So we created a platform that brings the two things together, giving the opportunity for the top management to be evaluated not only for financial figures, but also for ESG KPIs.
Yeah, that's interesting. So last question, we like to ask many of our guests around the ESG issue. ESG is obviously a fairly relatively new area. Companies are all grappling with this issue of how to manage data. But I think it's safe to say we're at the this sector is in its infancy. Tell us a last view on what does ESG look like in 3 or 5 years if we get this right and we sort out this issue of data?
Well, there are a lot of discussion about what are the standards of and how to calculate ESG. You can easily understand that that is a pretty open discussion. Europe is a little bit a step forward in this because they already declared since a couple of years that you have to follow and actually submit your data following GRI standards. Here in US, we are arriving right now, but the wave is coming very, very fast with the SASB reports, and also IFRS is talking about what should be the right standard to follow. So for this reason, what we created is a platform that is able to englobe and all the raw data and then report them in whatever kind of reporting structure you want, GRI, SASB, any of the new one that will come there, automatically update beforehand. So you as corporation should not just should just focus on collecting and analyzing the data, and the platform will aggregate them for you following the standards. And very important, will give you and to your people the collaboration, the ability to collaborate on those data with your supply chain and with your internal stakeholders in order to go bottom up and
Yeah.
top down.
Yeah, well, that's great. Well, Leonardo Di Biasi from NIMBL ESGO, thank you for joining us, and it was great to take a look into the future of ESG. Grazie and ciao.
Prego, ciao.